looks good. So now, as I was saying, it does go wonky. You'll see right across the top bar there is where you'll see.
Ready? Call the meeting to order. Sunshine law notice, please.
Notice requirements of the New Jersey Public Meetings Law have been set by noticing the Asbury Park Press and the Two River Times on January 3rd, 2026, stating that a regular meeting of the Colts Neck Township Committee would be held on March 25th, 2026 at 7 p.m. Town Hall, 1 Veterans Way, Colts Neck. Copy is on file in the office of the Township Clerk. Further notice was provided to the Asbury Park Press and the Two River Times on March 18, 2026, noting that the meeting time changed from 7 p.m. to 6 p.m.
May I have a roll call?
Committeeman Tabia.
Here.
Committeeman Rizzuto.
Here.
Committeewoman Buss. Here. Deputy Mayor Buzetta.
Here.
Mayor Viola.
Here. Item number 6, Resolution 2026-61, authorizing the hiring and appointment of Deputy Municipal Clerk Brian O'Malley, Administrator.
Yes, I'm delighted to advise that Mr. O'Malley, who is here with us this evening, is going to be assisting in the clerk's office on a part-time temporary basis. As you know, we are short a clerk, and I've been carrying both hats for some time, but felt it was in the best interest to bring someone in on a part-time basis to assist with that. Brian is employed full-time, so most of his hours are going to be done remotely or in the evenings or in weekends. He came on board on the 9th and has been training, learning our systems, and is doing an excellent job thus far. So I'm delighted to advance this resolution to appoint him.
Any comments from the committee? Good evening, Counselor.
Good evening. I'm a little short today.
Some of us are.
Hit that button. There you go.
I just want to say welcome. We're really happy to have you here, and I know with your background, you're going to do a fabulous job, so welcome.
Thank you very much.
And look forward to working with you, and I said, more importantly, give Kathleen some additional help.
Yep.
We know she's overburdened right now.
I echo that. Thank you. And thank you, Kathleen, for wearing both hats for as long as you did.
Sure. No
Welcome
worries.
aboard, Brian.
Thank you.
Welcome aboard, Mr. O'Malley. May I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Committeeman Tabia.
Yes.
Committeeman Rizzuto.
Yes.
Rizzuto.
Yes.
Committeewoman Buss.
I'm recusing myself.
Deputy Mayor Buzetta.
Yes.
Mayor Viola.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Congratulations. Welcome aboard.
And if
Thank
we
you.
could just take a pause and have Megan administer the oath of office.
Sure. Oh, is that what that would come over to you?
Where should I do it?
Yeah, no, you stay right
Right
there.
here?
Yeah,
Okay.
that'll work.
So other people heard that too. That wasn't in my head, right?
Okay, I, say your name,
I, Brian O'Malley,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and to the governments established in the United States
and to the governments established in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform all the duties
and justly perform all the duties
of Deputy Municipal Clerk
of Deputy Municipal Clerk
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
and that I will not use my office
and that I will not use my office
to grant preferential treatment,
grant preferential treatment,
nor to seek personal gain,
nor to seek personal gain,
favor, or advantage
favor, or advantage,
not available to the general public.
not available to the general public.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Nice
Thank
to meet you.
Very nice to meet you.
Just right there.
Of course, yep. This is me?
Yes.
Okay, very good.
I look forward to working with you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, that's mine, actually. Thank you
Sorry,
very
I'm
much.
still.
He needs a pen. Excellent, thank you so much. Okay. All right, we are off to the races.
Item number 7, Resolution 2026-62, Executive Session, Potential Litigation. Whereas the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-12B, permits the exclusion of the public from meeting in certain circumstances, And whereas the Colts Neck Township Committee finds that such circumstances presently exist, now therefore be it resolved by the Colts Neck Township Committee as follows. 1, the public shall be excluded from discussion of any action item, any action upon hereinafter specified subject matter. 2, the general nature of the subject matter to be discussed is as follows. Potential litigation, confidential pursuant to NJSA 10:4-12B7. The committee will not take any action during closed executive session. It is anticipated that the session will last approximately 60 minutes. It is anticipated at the time of the above stated subject matter will be made public when the need for confidentiality no longer exists, and this resolution shall become effective immediately. May I have a motion to go into executive?
Moved.
All in favor? Aye. We'll be back, folks.
You know, no, yeah, I'm talking to the wrong, I forgot.
Really?
Yeah, preneed stuff.
I completely, I know, I completely forgot. As soon as I said it, I was like, oh, that's a stupid thing to
That's
say.
hilarious.
Oh, yeah. No, I feel bad.
You did.
Oh, okay.
You get it automatic.
This is the new recording, the new person, clerk, they
Clerk.
hired. Deputy Municipal Clerk Brian O'Malley.
Still time to escape if you want.
What do you want to do? If you escape, the lady will hunt us down.
Where does it go?
She might,
You gotta get the word out.
didn't say. That's,
And you will? Who's to pay the taxes go down? Like, the people are not. But that's it, right? The township has to ask for the order. That's right. That's right. So we have a lawsuit. And they have.
Right across the street from the, those nice houses are in Castle.
Anyway.
We need.
It's gonna affect the whole.
We need to set up a fund for catering. So, because they're clearing the blood of this project, they put out almost $100,000 to the home. I know over 50,000. Chocolate, Mockingbird. I'm not like, I just, that's, we just, go from, we're absolutely go to catering for attorney fees. If that's.
Or maybe straight to it.
If it's straight to
Go
the
find
attorney.
it takes a percentage. Okay. Yeah, that's it, that's right. Oh, South Field.
My son works for a
Those are the three. For some, it's just.
What are restrictions? This is. Then he said to me, let's do time. Let's see.
But I'm getting better.
Better than us, then.
Yeah.
Really?
You know, I knew it was gonna be a great day. You know why? I woke up. And I think a couple's back. Am I right?
You are right. Yes. Oh, another day all the time.
How's your birthday? You'll be 40.
I would, well, hold on a second, I would like to keep them, but if I just can't.
And I, if you just come by.
The younger one, the younger one, you know. We need to hold things. Like I had.
Well, did you get an underview warranty? You know, so you're not gonna be like, it's different from.
No. My husband always told me that makes me anymore.
But they make this one. Beautiful, yeah. It's amazing. Enjoy. We don't take stuff. They open lawsuits from the builders. The kids are fighting to go against the law. And that's where the regulations. I'm not gonna try in December. There's so many different aspects. The most important thing is that we have. Hey, Kev. Good morning, sir. How you doing, young lady? Good, good.
Hello. Just fine. Just fine.
Guess what? This is from the school board. This is what the achievements and just fantastic achievements.
Even with the brain side.
Yeah, she's not. And she does all the work for us, she does all of this. I gotta give her the credit, even though some of the achievements are, worthy, but she does all of this, all the kids, all the great awards. So we'd like to share it, you guys really get it.
Oh, okay.
So it's great.
Thank you for understanding.
I was a bit more intense.
No.
On the first Wednesday.
Everything's good. She had a heart all I actually had to. I needed to close and order around today. She had no ride home.
I didn't say that.
You said, that's what it is.
No, I never said any such word.
Yeah, they're so lucky to have. They're so lucky to have.
So, yeah, I did that.
I certainly decided,
Like
you
she
alone,
nodded
leave
to
you
me, so
alone,
it's the
yes.
first time. It's like,
We were forced to.
yeah. I'll be honest, it's the first time. I said, you know, it's. And you really like it. Yes, I know. Or, you know, this or that. We start the last two places. We're home with like 9 families. Yeah, we're going down the road. So this is pretty awesome. We need a vacation. So my places we should go. So it's gonna be a nice time.
Great time. Hey, you have extra adventure, no extra charge.
Yeah. Well, I'm getting so much great. I gotta really take it easy. I love food. Sure, take me with you, but I'm walking. But other than that, everything, everything is good. We're excited to just get a break. Oh, now we're just going to get it together to reach next week. Yes. We should have went to the original job, but the other thing is, she's I told my wife, I told her, I don't do this. And the guy was in trouble. That job in places and especially traveling like you. I was never been able to get out. When I was on the flight. I still got my yeah.
But there's some hard issues, nobody is agreeing to.
Yeah, I know, and she wasn't even in it, she just wanted to see it, to see how
And never, you're accepted.
Very, very bland treatment. She said we had a. Likes to coffee. Yeah, we have like these, you know, cake So once in a while, we're gonna take it on, see, multiple games and stuff. That's my work.
And if you need more, let me know. We're doing next week for yeah, my daughter's class is gonna be over at, actually, it's senior drive, it's not my daughter's class, it's the whole school. It's gonna be at, right in, Tin Falls, yeah, right there. So we're gonna go to support. Dr. Garvey's supposed to be same place. Yeah, Middletown's doing it tonight. Warren's gonna write. A lot of students on the county. Yeah. I don't even know what we're really gonna make of it. The ice cream's expensive, but I don't know what percentage. I think it's more fun, but. Yeah, well, I'm sure the show will put out on it. Did you go back?
They're all up there when you said.
I saw some pictures and I'm waiting to see what they generate, what the revenue they generated. Yeah, it's really a lot. Before donating an iPad, so it should. I chipped in, I chipped in. Last year when I went, I wanted eight big pockets. Yeah, I still have it.
Yeah,
I
okay.
said to Kevin, I said, the 1 year they have a job, I can go in comfortable shoes, sweatpants, or sweater job. Oh, they right neck when you get something. That's really something. Sexy neck.
It's true.
I would have been with my shoe. As long as they have fun and they don't have money on the kids. Last year, the was, so everybody wore like enchanted bars and flowers and stuff, and then I went to the Mardi Gras, one where they dressed like masks and everything. And then I went to the white one, where everybody wore white. And then they did one that was like beach bombs and wild, so everybody dressed like leprechauns. But I missed that one.
It's a lot less.
Yeah, it was a good idea. Now they start all over.
Oh,
Ashley just got. Years, but now it's in the election, so like, you certify. I gotta take the last 3 hours. No, I don't mind doing it, but it's, I know like the back of my hand, I've been doing it for 3 years, but it's so long, you have to have
What's up?
We're not allowed to ask, but if someone comes with your license and they're like, oh, you know, my license, we're allowed to stand. And they don't have to. And they just give me. I just gotta look up their email, matches signature. Their signature doesn't match. Yeah, but in New Jersey, that's against the law. Yes. It's pretty. The other thing is, I've been working so long in town, so I recognize everybody. Nobody's really try to cheat. It's very difficult because she and people are working for years now, it's the same guys. But they live in different towns. I can get away with it. Like I said, I was in the same sports, every election. And they're residents. We used to be around the block, but now I don't see them anymore. It's just like. It's a long day, though. We gotta get this 5:30. You do get a break for lunch. And a 15-minute like air break. Otherwise, we
Executive session. So we went from 8.9 to what is it, 5.5? 5.5. Now we're moving yeah, we're gonna are. We always hold this,
Hi everyone, is anyone interested in receiving the newest Board of Education newsletter?
Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you, Phyllis. Amazing work, thank you.
I'll take one.
I just got back to my house. Oh, is that what you? Are you always working now?
I have a meeting. And Friday. So I'm going to get 2.5 hours. So Wednesday and Friday, we're going to be doing June 16th. I have 2 this week. Friday, and now.
Roman philosophy.
Right, but you don't want to do that yet. No. Right.
Thank you.
Okay. It's not that far from my mom. Oh, shoot. I know.
I mean, as far as.
Oh, well, I'm reading. So I had to put it But it takes up a lot of time. Good hour. So I haven't committed it 100%. But,
Well, I'm here now, so I would say.
You were here last time.
Yes. May I have a motion to return to public?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Please stand for the salute to the flag. Remain standing for a moment of silence and reflection, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Public may notice a new individual there on the right. That is Mr. Brian O'Malley. He was appointed tonight as our interim deputy clerk. Welcome aboard, Mr. O'Malley. We appreciate your attendance and your professionalism. Thank you. I'd also like to remind the public to silence their cell phones or any other devices that might disturb you or the proceedings. And if you have comments amongst yourself, I ask that you take them outside. Item number 8, minutes. March 11, 2026, executive session, and March 11, 2026, general meeting. Are there any comments or changes, edits, etc.?
I'll move that.
Roll call.
Committeeman Tobia,
Yes.
Committeewoman Buss,
Can I approve the executive? Say yes to the executive and no to the, that's because I was absent.
You were absent for the executives, you abstained from the executive.
No, I was here for
Oh,
executive,
you were
but I
here.
abstained from regular.
You weren't here for all of
Yeah,
the
I would
executive?
Okay.
Abstain from both.
I'm going to
everything.
abstain.
Committeeman Rizzuto,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Bezzetta,
Yes.
Mayor Viola.
Yes. Old business, item number 9, second reading public hearing ordinance number 2026-03, an ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and establish a cap bank. This is the second reading and public hearing by title. Before we open to public for comments, is there any questions or comments from the committee? May I have a motion to open to public?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Public, if you have any comments on the cap bank ordinance, now would be the time to come forth and speak. Mr. O'Brien.
Kevin O'Brien, 18 the enclosure. I find it difficult to comprehend the need for such a large increase, especially when the itemized budget figures have not been presented. Once again, it's
Microphone isn't on.
I get a green light.
Okay,
Just bring it
Kevin?
up close.
Yeah, maybe it's on.
Oh, it's
It's
on.
on.
Just bring it up closer.
I'm not timing you, Tiff.
I find it difficult to comprehend the need for such a large increase, especially when the itemized budget figures have not been presented. Once again, it's a lack of transparency from my perspective. If I'm hiring a contractor to do work, I want to see what the whole bills list is going to look like before I sign off and give them a check for work they're doing on my house. But that just seems to be the standard. When we look at the surplus balance, as of 12/31/2024, it was $5,660,810.92.
Mr. O'Brien, excuse me, but I'm sorry to interrupt you. This is about the cap bank
Not the budget.
ordinance. This is not, you're talking about budget items.
I'm sorry, I don't understand the difference.
The cap bank is the amount of a percentage that we carry forward from the previous year in the need to increase spending at the end of the year.
So is it only limited to just the cap bank?
Yes,
Yes,
this is
it's-
only
this is
limited
just
to the
the-
cap
Any
bank.
comment with respect to what transpired last year?
So, no, this is specifically
That-
to this ordinance only, but you certainly can bring those comments when we do public comment.
So again, I'll come back. It's difficult to understand why there's no details. You're asking us to, I'd like to see the details on what's making up this $19 million budget. And it just,
Well, we haven't introduced the budget yet, so I'd ask that you come back to that
so
later.
it seems like you put it, from my perspective, you're putting the cart before the horse. It would be nice if we could see the budget first, if you could make
You
that as a document that was.
You will, yeah. So when we get to that point in the agenda, we're going to introduce the budget. Tomorrow, once it's formally introduced, it'll be posted on the website. And then it doesn't get adopted until the 29th of April. So the public will have, what
5
is that, a
weeks.
month?
And that's where I would have liked to have seen where the numbers are going and what cubby holes are going to before you did this.
Well, we have to resolve the cap bank. It's a separate issue from introducing
separate.
the budget. When we introduce the budget, then the horse is out of the gate and it will be posted tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. O'Brien. Any other comments from the public on the cap bank?
Move to close public comment.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion to adopt. Is there a motion?
Moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Committeeman Tobia.
Yes.
Committeewoman Bus.
Yes.
Committeeman Rizzuto.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Bezetta.
Yes.
Mayor Viola.
Yes. Second reading, public hearing, ordinance 2026-04, ordinance appropriating $52,000 for the capital, from the Capital Improvement Fund to provide for the acquisition of firearms equipment in and by Colts Neck Township in the county of Monmouth, New Jersey. This is the second reading by title and public hearing. Are there any other comments from the committee before we open the public?
Yes, Mayor.
Please, Mr. Katabia.
I would like to take this opportunity to thank committee for moving this forward quickly. And I would also like to thank our attorney for her review of the condition of the guns and the litigation that was brought forth by the Attorney General regarding the existing manufacturer. And I believe that our police department should have the best possible equipment and safest equipment they have to perform their job moving forward, protecting the citizens of Colts Neck. This particular $52,000 will enhance that. And it would also, as a conversation with the police chief, there will be a trade-in value, so the actual purchase price will be less than that when they get ready to trade those guns in. I believe that the timely fashion to get this moving so that we do not have a manufacturer's increase come in May is a prudent and also safety for our police officers, so thank you.
Any other comments? May I have a motion to open to public.
Moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. This is the ordinance only on the $52,000 expenditure to replace the firearms for the police department. Mr. O'Brien, if you'd like to opine to those specifics, please do.
I get it. Kevin O'Brien, 18 enclosure. I'm going to emulate what Mr. Tobia had commented. I'm delighted to see the Township Committee move swiftly in support of the police officers as well as the safety of the residents. You did pretty quick, so thank you.
Thank you. Any other public wish to be heard? May I have a motion to close public comment?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion to adopt. Is there a motion?
Move. Oh, sorry, second.
Roll call.
Committeeman Tobia.
Yes.
Committeewoman Bus.
Yes.
Committeeman Rizzuto.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Bezetta.
Yes.
Mayor Viola.
Yes. Second reading, public hearing, ordinance 2026-05, an ordinance of Colts Neck Township in the county of Monmouth, state of New Jersey, setting salary and wage ranges for township employees. This is the second reading by title and public hearing. Are there any remaining comments from the committee before we open to the public?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Tobia.
On this particular ordinance on the salary and wages, I would like to thank our administrator for her time going through this ordinance and meeting with the department heads. I am in favor of the ordinance moving forward. The concern that I have, and it is directly tied to this budget, is some positions within the police department that currently do not have overtime. I believe that they should have overtime. And after doing a survey throughout the county, Colts Neck is one of the few municipalities that does not offer overtime to certain positions. And I also further believe one of the positions should have unlimited use of the vehicle because of the nature of that position. And I hope moving forward that policy and procedure will be changed because they're due, they service our residents, and I fully support that they should become in parity with the other police departments within Monmouth County. But I do support the ordinance. Thank you.
I ask that you and the police liaison meet with the chief and the administrator to start the policy discussion. Chief needs to be integrally involved.
Thank you.
Any other comments?
Nope.
May I have a motion open to public?
Moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Public, if you wish to opine on the salary ranges, Mr. O'Brien. You should sit in the front row, unless you're trying to get your steps in.
It's all good. One quick question. Is the pricing that's projected on the sheet that I saw online in line with the League of Municipalities pricing for salaries?
The ranges, I believe they would be somewhat consistent.
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak to every individual position. And again, this is not assigning a particular salary to any particular individuals or any other components of the terms and conditions of their employment. This is specifically to create a minimum and maximum that guides the municipality to hire and/or pay within that min and max. Back to your question, is it consistent with the league? On every position, I can't say, but generally, yes.
As an example, in 2024, the League of Municipalities had, for a municipal clerk, had the starting salary at $92,749 and the ending salary at the top scale of $114,189. That's what I'm just trying to get an understanding while we didn't understand parameters.
Yes.
And I'll do that.
Thank you. Any other comments from the public on the salary ranges? May I have a motion to close?
Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
May I have a motion to adopt?
Second.
Roll call.
Committeeman Tabia.
Yes.
Committeewoman Bus.
Yes.
Committeeman Rizzuto.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Bezzetta.
Yes.
Mayor Viola.
Yes. Ordinance number 2026-06, approving and authorizing extension of affordability housing controls for 34 owner-occupied units, payment of $40,000 to each owner, extending and continuation of 50% recapture lien. This is the second reading by title and public hearing. Are there any comments from the committee?
So, Mr. May, thank you. Thank you, Jen. So as we've discussed, this is a way for us to attain additional credits against a state-imposed mandate on affordable housing. There are 66 units that are owner-occupied at the Grand that could have been, had all 66 homeowners agreed, could have been credited against our outstanding obligation. As it stands, 34 homeowners agreed to extend affordability controls in return for a payment of $40,000. This is something that we negotiated with these residents who are our neighbors and our friends in 2025, and I am delighted that we are carrying through with the agreement that we made with them to pay each of them, each of the 34, $40,000 to extend the affordability controls, which effectively reduces the outstanding affordable housing obligation we have. I think this is a wise use of our money, and I support this entirely. I wish it was my idea. I know some people have credited me with this. Thank you. I wish it was my idea. I'm not that, it's not mine though. This idea came up in 2025 when the law allowed us to do it. It was all of the committee people here, including the mayor. So I congratulate all of you and our professionals for coming up with this idea. Like I said, I wish it was mine, but I can't take credit for it. Thank you.
Mr. Tabia, you have a comment?
Thank you, Mayor. So one of the items on this is, yes, there is some potential benefit as far as reducing the overall number of the affordable housing units that the township has to construct or have a builder construct. But one of the issues with this is if we're going to enter in any type of an agreement, we should have the total cost of what this means over the 30 years. And when I voted for no on the planning board, that was the same questions I had. What is that total cost over the 30 years to the township? What is our total cost in legal representation on this particular item? What is the total cost of lost taxes from the pilot program? And I think we should have all that information when this type of a proposal is put forth for the public to consider.
Well, I think that information was provided. I think our attorneys did provide us with that information to the best of their abilities. Some of the numbers are estimates, but we have received that information.
In all due respect, I don't think it goes far enough. I think it should be much more detailed over the 30 years. And also what the total legal cost for this whole exercise was, that should also be transparent.
That was provided on March 11th to the committee. It's estimated between $7,500 and $10,000 per deed. Additionally, there is no pilot on these extension of affordability controls for the owner-occupied units.
Does the legal cost also include the firm, all the discussions with the township committee members, the discussions with the other attorneys? It should be all costs involved, not just the cost per deed. this discussion goes back a while back. It should include the total cost of legal related to the grant. I'm sure our affordable housing attorney can pull that out because some of the information on his bill reads like a Groundhog Day, that it's the same type of discussion over and over again regarding the grant. And I think that we should have what that total cost to the township was for all legal expenses related to the grant.
Any other comments from committee? May I have a motion open to public comment?
Moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Public, your opportunity to opine on the extension of affordability controls for the grant.
Kevin Walsh, 8 Lindsay Lane. I applaud the committee for extension of those affordable units, the 34 of them. Now, if we didn't do that, is it a 5-to-1 ratio? My question is to you, man. If we didn't have those 34 units, how many units would we have to build this township?
170.
So I think, Mr. Tabia, with all due respect, this committee saved the town millions of dollars. Taxes for schools, police department, and infrastructure.
Thank you.
One comment, Mr. Walsh, since you addressed me. I'm not opposed to the concept of the affordability. I believe there should be full, open, and transparent accountability of what the total cost is to the township, is what my comment was.
I respect that.
Thank you, Mr. Walsh. Any other comments from the public? Mr. O'Brien?
Kevin O'Brien, 18 the enclosure. At the last meeting, we were told about the 34 units, but there's also 20 of these property owners who, if I understand correctly, have brought litigation. And I didn't understand, and my question didn't get answered. Are any of the 20 people that brought litigation among that populous group of the 34 that are moving forward, or is that separate and apart?
They're separate and apart.
Thank you, because I didn't get that the last meeting. And with respect to Mr. Tobias, well, I hope it's Tobias, not Tabia.
Tabia.
I'll work on it, thank you. In response to Mr. Tabia, he asked the same questions at the June, I believe it was the June planning board meeting, on total costs. And so I was there for that. And those were the numbers that you had given back at that particular time. Just didn't seem to fit. And that's where I asked you once again, in a different meeting, you thought I had the numbers wrong. Unfortunately, the planning board meeting wasn't recorded. If it wasn't, then we'd have a little bit more context here. But thank you.
Thank you, Mr. O'Brien. Any other member from the public wish to be heard on this ordinance? Mrs. Kukula, please come forward.
Maria Kukla, 67 Blackbriar. 2 points in reference to what Mr. Tabia was saying. I too have a copy of all the 2025 legal bills, and there's many times that these 34 residents
You
who
need
want
to position yourself relative to the microphone.
I actually don't know if that green light is on.
Tap on.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, it's not on.
Push the
It's-
green button on the front,
Do you want me to go change
right
the
there,
batteries
that
out?
little hole, that's it, right there, yep. Tap on it now, no, I think you had it. There you go.
Okay, thank you. In reference to what Mr. Tabia was saying, I too have a copy of all the 2025 legal bills. And there were times that residents of the 34 and other residents called and spoke to Mr. Driver's law firm and Mr. Israel's law firm for a very long period of time. I added up all the hours where I could find them, and there's a lot of hours. And in reference to what Mr. Walsh just said about saving the town millions of dollars, well, if we had met our obligation and hadn't been waiting to the last minute, we wouldn't.
Yeah, it's not working.
That is the battery's dying, that's all. Nothing you did.
Ooh, you're in trouble.
Just 2, Tara? Or was it 4? Thank you so much.
You are welcome.
I shall not sing to see if it works.
Oh, go ahead. Okay, is it working now?
You're good.
Okay, and in reference to that, if we had met our obligation, we wouldn't have been needed to run around. It's nice that we're doing it. It's great that we're saving that, but we did not meet our obligation. We still have
over 130 or 140 outstanding units, obligations. And that's where the 5 comes in. So yes, we're saving money, but if we had planned better, this would not be an issue. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Kukula.
So in response to that, let me just say that as that comment shows, congratulations to our attorneys for being responsive. When residents called asking questions, our attorneys were responsive and provided the residents of the Grand with much needed information to make the decision. And I congratulate the 34 homeowners of the Grand who looked into the issue, asked the right questions, got the information, and decided to help this town reduce its outstanding obligation by agreeing to extend affordability control. So thank you to them.
And can I just chime in for a minute on affordability controls? Just for the public that's not aware, extension of affordability controls have been something that towns have been doing for decades. This is not new to Colts Neck. This is not new to this round of affordable housing. Extension of controls is an important tool that's been utilized in affordable housing for decades now. So just to kind of clarify, it's nothing new to our town. All towns are doing it. Many towns are extending the controls on units without any kind of payment to their residents as well. But I didn't want anyone to think this was something unique. This is common, it is expected, and it's done all over the state. So.
May I have a motion to close public comment?
Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
May I have a motion to adopt the ordinance?
Move.
Second.
Roll call.
Committeeman Tabia.
As I stated before, I'm not objecting to the affordability controls. I'm objecting to the process, that there was not a total cost provided for the public to fully analyze and evaluate. So I vote no.
Committeewoman Buss.
I'm recusing myself.
Committeeman Rizzuto.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Bezzetta.
Enthusiastically, yes.
Mayor Viola.
Yes. Ordinance is adopted. Item number 10, new business, first reading introduction, ordinance 2026-07, amending Chapter 41 miscellaneous fees and Chapter 41-2 establishment of fees of the Code of Colts Neck. Counselor, would you opine, please?
For the establishment of fees, I think it probably.
Yeah, I can speak to that. Sure, sure. So we had a request by our police department to revisit the fees in connection with body worn camera open request fulfillment. That has become not just unique to Colts Neck, but I think around the state.
A lot of time.
An enormous increase in requests for copies, if you will, of the video recording. It takes an enormous amount of effort to redact, review. They have to look frame by frame. And we did not, up until this time, charge a fee or enhanced fees for the fulfillment of those requests. So that was the genesis of this amendment. And as we've talked before with the public, whenever there's an opportunity to review an ordinance, we look at it in its entirety. So there were some housekeeping cleanup items that we took advantage of this amendment to clean up as well in this ordinance.
Any other comments from committee? This is the first reading by title. May I have a motion?
Moved.
Second. Roll call.
Committeeman Tabia.
Yes.
Committeewoman Buss.
Yes.
Committeeman Rizzuto.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Bezzetta.
Yes.
Mayor Viola.
Yes. 6. New business item B, resolution 2026-63, authorizing introduction of the municipal budget for 2026. I've got some notes, bear with me. Deputy Mayor is finance chair. He's been traveling extensively. He asked me to introduce this because he didn't have the time. He was in airport lines waiting to get through security checks. Budget development is year-round activity. It's led by the administrator and by the financial officer, gaining a significant inertia in the fall. The business administrator and CFO review every line item requested in each department's budget. The first big macro view by the governing body occurs in February at the budget workshop, which is a public meeting. Then it is scrutinized at the line item level by the finance team led by the finance chair and mayor with individual input from the governing body. The governing body is very vocal and all contribute to the budget process. Let's talk a little bit about debt, because debt is a part of your budget. We manage debt as an integral component of the annual budget development and long-term capital planning. Self-funding Colts Neck bonds at an AA++ rating is considered and compared with other lending entities such as the Monmouth County Improvement Authority. Monmouth County is 53 towns with a $500-something million budget. They have a much better credit rating. They have a AAA credit rating. They afford lower rates. The Improvement Authority does not put funds out every year. It's every other year. And in 2023, when we planned some capital purchases and equipment, we utilized the Improvement Authority. Last year in 2025, when we did some bonding, we also utilized the Improvement Authority. If there's a 0.5% or a 1% difference in lending rates, it's significant over the life of a bond. If you have the similar terms, if you're going out for a mortgage and you have a similar terms at 5.5% as you do at 5%, which one are you going to take? So that pretty much drives our lending. Though Colts Neck has been recognized by the credit agencies for a strong fiscal restraint, internal controls, and surplus management, considering these other funding sources affords Monmouth County Townships more favorable rates on public financing. And we had, as I'd mentioned, had used the Improvement Authority in both 2023 and 2025. Some of the 2026 budget drivers: an increase in snow/storm removal costs of 59%. What we budget and spent in January and February for the storms, we also have to budget for the latter part of the year, November and December, in case there's an early storm. And we did last year have a December storm. So we have storm and snow removal costs of 59% increase. An increase in insurance costs of 22.84%. An increase in recycling of 5%. An increase in pension costs of 4.8%. Those are just some of the examples. At the end of 2025, the surplus budget was $5,660,810.92. Surplus at the end of 25 was $5,140,920.25, down $519,890 and some change. So we saw a 10% drop off in our surplus. The operating budget in 2025 was $20,077,503.76. The budget we are introducing tonight has an operating budget of $19,118,181.67. It is down $957,000 plus. Funds raised through property taxes last year was $12,573,284. Funds raised through property taxes in 2026 will be down $156,000 to $12,417,065.99. Open space last year was $543,414.76. It goes up by your appraised value. We have no control over that. Open space funding is controlled by the voters during a referendum. Open space tax in 2026 will be $586,826.76, up $43,000 and some change. The 2026 budget will utilize $2.75 million of surplus, leaving a surplus balance of $2,390,920.25, or 12.5% of the budget, which is in line of the rolling four-year average of surplus to budget. It's been 12.33%. In 2026, it'll be 12.5%. We will use $2 million for a capital improvement fund for pay-as-you-go projects. So again, the last several years, we've utilized capital to pay for a lot of our capital projects. We did borrow some, but we utilized mostly pay-as-you-go. That's monies that we've already collected and already taxed and collected from the taxpayer. The 2026 tax rate will be reduced to 8.66% from 0.278 to 0.254. The average appraised home in Colts Neck is now $1,367,047. They will see an estimated reduction of $44.96. This was a very aggressive budget. It is razor thin. We put all the departments in a very tough spot. Any additional cuts would risk services that we offer. We don't, we all live here, we don't offer a great deal of menu of services to our residents, but we do try to offer them with top quality and productivity. Any additional cuts to the budget may have led to additional loss of services. So that being said, budget introduction of $19,118,181.67. Any comments from committee?
So I'd like to start first by congratulating my colleagues for achieving a tax cut, right? What's the headline? What's the takeaway from tonight? Despite inflation increasing, despite runaway costs, many of which are mandated by the state that we can't get away from, like insurance and pension and recycling costs, notwithstanding costs rising everywhere, we were able to reduce the amount that we spend. Our overall spending is less. Our tax rate has decreased. Just to put it in context, in 2019, our tax rate was 0.260. It went steadily up every year since then. In 2026, our tax rate of 0.254 is less than the tax rate we had in 2019. I'm not a math major, and I became a lawyer because I can't do math. But the rate of inflation since 2019 skyrocketed. We're lowering our tax rate. And we're doing it without sacrificing services to our town. There's no fat in this budget. I wish there was, because then it would give us more opportunities to cut. But we have to fund our police. We have to fund our first responders. We have to pay for the lights in this building, to pave our roads, and for DPW. I commend our administrator. I commend our department chiefs for heeding our call to keep your taxes and the taxes that all of us pay. We pay the same taxes all of you pay. But I commend everyone for heeding the call to keep our taxes as low as we possibly could without sacrificing services. And just a word, if I might, about the budget surplus, because there's a lot of information out there about you have this huge budget surplus, use it. Well, we are. We're using 2.7 million of it, as the mayor said, and each year we use the surplus to pay for certain expenses so that it keeps your taxes low. But we can't use all of the surplus. Why? Because, as the mayor said, we need debt. And when we go to the bond markets to get the debt, to get the loans rather, to fund capital improvements, one of the things that those bond markets look at when they set our interest rate is what's your surplus? And if that surplus dips too low, interest rates go up. We wind up paying more. And how do we get a surplus? It's from smart fiscal management, right? It's because we don't spend money and money stays in the budget. It's because of unanticipated revenue that we didn't plan for. It's because of tax payments that we didn't count on getting at the end of the year. All of it is as a result of fiscal responsibility. So I'm proud to be a part of this committee. Again, I commend everyone involved in this budget, and I congratulate all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor and Deputy Mayor. I just also want to, by name, congratulate, in my personal opinion, one of our best CFOs in the state, John Antonides, for his year after year diligent work on this. I feel like municipal budgeting is a whole different ballgame. It's not like traditional financing. So thank you both for working on this diligently and involving all of us as well. And thank you, Kathleen, for leading the charge with John Antonides. So,
Any other comments from committee? Mr. Tabia.
Just a couple comments regarding the budget. First off, I would like to thank our administrator, our CFO, and the department heads for their numerous hours in preparing the budget, answering the questions from the Township Committee, listening to, in some cases, questions from the public during the budget presentation, and taking some of that into consideration. However, there's a number of areas, although this is a start in the right direction, there's a number of areas that I do believe that need to be adjusted to the budget. First off, when you look at a budget, it's not just what is raised from taxes to pay for the items in the budget, whether it's the police department, public works, or this building. There's other areas of revenue and cost factors within the budget. Just one item in recreation, asked during the budget preparation that we need to know what the cost for all our use of our fields when we lease those fields out to out-of-town teams that are coming here to use those fields. There's a cost to that. There's a wear and tear on those fields. There's a cost to recreation. There's a cost to public works. And we should analyze that so that at least whatever we're going to charge, that we cover those costs. And that's something I'm going to ask that we do moving into 2026 so that we have that information for the end of 25. I think the current teams, any of them that are not committed, we should have that information first. I do believe that when you look at some of the recreation programs, for instance, the concerts in the park and some others, I think you have to look at those as a total. What is the cost of the township and what is the use or the attendance at some of those events? I think we have to appeal to a wider range of our residents, such as movies in the park for our young kids that use the parks. And not only that, the county is going to have concerts at the summer stage. Are they conflicting with some of our concerts? I think that also needs to be looked at. What's the cost of the 250 activities? Then moving forward, we have certain areas within the budget regarding capital. The police department originally submitted a request for 2 vehicles. Most people don't understand on a police vehicle, it takes anywhere from 18 to 24 months to have that vehicle come in and outfitted. In my prior career in managing the fleet, including the state police vehicles on the Garden State Parkway and all the vehicles in Monmouth County, it is very important that you maintain a replacement program. And I do very much support that we increase those vehicles back to the 2 vehicles instead of 1 so that we give our police department the best possible tools to protect the residents of Colts Neck. Furthermore, I do believe that there is additional ways to cut and reducing some of our capital expenses that we could and just to get it down from that 8.6 to 10%, another $180,000 would be needed that we could either take out of surplus or capital. That would not be, as I said prior, that would not be on the backs of our dedicated employees that provide the services to this town. Salary increases are protected within this budget, and I wholly support that, except for the 2 items I mentioned earlier that we're going to look at. I do believe that as far as the response of our emergency services need to be looked at and the Spillman reports analyzed as far as what is more prudent. I also believe as a token, and I commend Mr. Bezzetta and myself for not taking any salary for serving on the Township Committee. I also encourage the other members of the Township Committee to voluntarily give up their salaries as a good faith effort to where this budget needs to go. I want to thank the residents, but I do believe that there's ways to further reduce this budget and get it down more than the 10%. But I do thank everybody for working together to get it to this point, and I'll vote no.
Thank you for your comments.
I'm sorry, can I just clarify something? Something I didn't understand that Mr. Tabia had said about EMS services. I didn't, just because I'm the liaison for fire.
At the budget, I asked for the Spillman reports for EMS. I've not received that yet.
Sorry,
So
I was
just
trying to
did I hear you say
understand
you'll
that.
vote no on the budget? Is that what I heard
Yes.
you said? Okay.
I'd like to opine. This is my 9th and final year on the committee, and I have never accepted the stipend. I've paid for everything, including my business cards, any travel, any expense going to Trenton, going to Washington, D.C., going to Atlantic City. I incurred all those expenses. So thank you for also doing the same, Mr. Tabia. It does make a difference, and it does help the township. Regarding the police vehicles, in 2019, we took 2 very aggressive steps in the department reorganizations. We reorganized DPW. We went to a leaner DPW staff that focused on specific core competencies and the balance of needs that they would have to deliver to the township. We went to shared services. We utilized the county, as you know, Mr. Tabia, for many of those shared services, as well as other communities. If you're in the town hall on Wednesday mornings, we host Holmdels Public Court. We are their public court. That is a shared service that they purchase from Colts Neck. So we use shared services for DPW to complement their core competencies. The other second major reorganization we had is we installed a new police chief in 2019 who had a reorganization plan for establishing a command staff and building out the department to lead towards accreditation that has been successfully, was that 23 or 24, 23?
It's coming up right now.
Okay, so 24 is 2 years, which was achieved in 2024. We were asked at that time by Chief Santucci to put 2 vehicles in the replacement plan as an ongoing to take care of some of the older vehicles. And I do compliment the department and the county because we have any services, any mechanic services, we go to the county yard to have our vehicles fixed. But they take care of the vehicles. They look much newer than they are. But we have been replacing 3 vehicles per year for the past 6 years. Since 2019, we've replaced 18 vehicles. Okay, I was a proponent of no vehicles this year. I do believe the lead time in the building of the vehicles and the upfitting them will be reduced as the economy slows a little bit. I do not think we should be placing a $100,000 order to get a police vehicle on the street. It's $100,000. It's the cost of the interceptor and the cost of the upfit, the security, the lights, the radios, the computers, the license plate readers, et cetera, et cetera. It's $100,000 to put a police vehicle on the road. I was against any vehicles this year. I thought this was the year to take a hiatus. We're putting one into plan to protect the future. We just ordered 2 vehicles back in January, but we have replaced the entire fleet, 3 per year, above 50% above the 2 per year is requested to make sure that our department had the resources they need to effectively and securely take care of Colts Neck and defend Colts Neck. Any other comments from committee?
No, I concur with, turn my microphone on. I concur with the mayor, and they just received vehicles that they're upfitting currently, which were delayed from the last purchase. So there will be no interruption of services or fleet maintenance or management.
Committeeman?
No, I agree. I think this is a fiscally prudent, fiscally conservative, responsible budget that satisfies the needs of our residents without spending more than we need to, and recognizing that government needs to spend less while providing services. And this budget does it with a tax cut and with lower spending. And again, I commend everyone involved.
And I'm very comfortable with 12.5% of our budget being left in surplus. 13% is usually the target. We've been there for 4 years. Just a quick, one last. This goes back to 2018. I started in 2018. That was my first year on the committee. Our remaining balance after the budget adoption for surplus was $733,447.57. That is one lawsuit, one judgment from insolvency. So you must maintain money in your surplus. As the deputy mayor articulated as well, it is, we are, when we go to the public markets for financing, when we issue a bond or go to the public markets for a bond rating, they look at our internal control mechanisms, our fiscal responsibility and prudence, our tax rate. What's our tax rate been doing? Our tax rate has been relatively flat. Now it's come down a little bit. And they also look at the health that you've maintained of your surplus. So this budget, in not only reducing the rate by 8.66%, protects the future. I will not be on the governing body next year. This budget will hand a good budget, a good sound financial footing to next year's budget cycle when I'm sitting out there or I'm watching at home with my slippers, my dog on my lap, and a glass of wine. That being said, may I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Moved. Oh, second.
Roll call.
Committeeman Tabia.
For the reasons I stated, that there's other areas to cut to give additional relief to the taxpayers of Colts Neck, I will vote no for the introduction.
Committeewoman Bus.
Yes.
Committeeman Rizzuto.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Bezzetta.
Yes.
Mayor Viola.
Yes, adoption on schedule for April 29th. Consent agenda. All items listed on the consent agenda are considered routine by the township and are adopted or approved collectively by a single motion and roll call vote of a majority of the township committee. If discussion is desired on any item, it should be considered separately. Are there any comments? May I have a motion?
Moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Committeeman Tabia,
Yes.
Committeewoman Bus,
Yes.
Committeeman Rizzuto,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Bezetta,
Yes.
Mayor Viola.
Yes. Approval of vouchers. Before I hand it to the finance chair, I would like to advise the public and my colleagues, I review now as he is a fireman and recuses himself from the fire department. I am not a fireman. I am a fireman liability. I approved the vouchers and I found all the fire department vouchers to be in order. So I'll now hand it to the finance chair to review the balance of vouchers.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This month, the vouchers totaled $450,769.01. So where did our tax dollars go this month? Just a few highlights. Medical insurance, $113,141. Payment to the Mid-Jersey Municipal Joint Insurance Fund. This is the insurance that covers the township's liability, $120,838. Republic Services for the recycling contract, $35,636.34. Salt, road salt for the storm, $7,312.10. Truck repairs, trucks that were damaged in the storm, $39,175.85. Payments for legal fees for Oprah requests. We have citizens who request documents from our town, $2,346. Affordable housing legal costs, $20,684.50. Natural gas to heat all of the buildings, $9,719.01. JCP&L, $5,482.58. The reason I go through some of these examples every month is to show you where our tax dollars go. As I said before, I wish that there was fluff in here. I wish that there was fat in here because I would be the first one to cut it. But you can't cut medical insurance for our staff. You can't cut insurance to protect the town's liability. You can't cut a recycling contract, which is mandated by the state, and all of these to keep the lights on, to keep the heat running. So that's where our tax dollars go. Mr. Mayor, I move the amount of $450,769.01 for payment.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Roll call.
Committeeman Tabia,
I vote yes on all the bills except the bill for the affordable housing attorney. I vote no.
Committeewoman Bus,
Yes, with the exception of any bills related to the municipal court.
Committeeman Rizzuto,
Yes, with the exception of the fire department.
Deputy Mayor Bezetta,
Yes, with the exception of the fire department.
Mayor Viola.
Yes, with the exception of Best Horticultural, Bucks Tree Service, and Jolene Landscaping. Administrators report.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of items, primarily in the Department of Public Works. Just a reminder to the public, the one-time spring leaf collection will start March 30th and run through April 3rd. Please, if you're going to partake in that, get your leaves out by March 29th. Spring brush collection will be starting in Zone 1 on April 6th, Monday, April 6th. And our Saturday convenience center collection hours will begin starting on Saturday, April 4th. And cleanup day. Be sure to look at the website on all these matters, but cleanup day is scheduled for Saturday, May 2nd, 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. And again, our seniors and disabled residents can take advantage of the curbside collection, but they do need to schedule and make a reservation for that no later than April 6th by 3 p.m. And that's all. Again, I would encourage everyone to go to the website to get all the particulars.
Thank you, Administrator. Committee reports. Committeeman Tabia.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple items on Environmental Committee. Like I said, they are looking into a tree to celebrate the 250. We will have some information further on cost. We're going to try to obtain that tree locally to reduce the cost from what was originally proposed. On farmland preservation, we will have recommendations for a farmland and open space ballot question for funding open space moving forward. And I do have some other comments regarding affordable housing. As this township knows, we have been trying to come up with a plan to meet the affordable housing requirements that the state has implemented on this township and every other township in the state of New Jersey. Nobody is happy with those numbers. Nobody is happy with the process or the format that has gotten us to this point. However, I do believe where we're at this point with the round 4 and what has just recently happened with the court order, I think we need to change course. And as we move forward, I do propose that we do have to look at the court order and potential appeal. In all due respect to Mr. Israel, I do at this point believe that we need to bring in additional legal counsel with different types of expertise and specialties to assist the township in their affordable housing to meet the obligations. I further believe that when we have an area in town that is more desirable than others, we need to take a look at that. I do further believe that we should designate Route 34, including the overlay zone, as an area of need of redevelopment, and bring in specific redevelopment planners and redevelopment attorneys to look at different properties along that corridor. I further believe that there are some options along that corridor in the overlay zone that could be beneficial to the township to construct 100% affordable housing. Having said that, that does not come out at an inexpensive endeavor for the township. There's a cost to acquire the property. There's a cost to supplement the 501c to construct that housing. However, but we need to look at what the least cost option is for the township for the duration. By designating an area of redevelopment, if it qualifies, would also qualify the township for redevelopment area bonds that could be paid back through a pilot program that would ultimately not cost the township any funds to acquire the property and turn over. 2, we could use our affordable housing funds to assist that development. I also believe that the township is changing not only in our residential character, but our Route 34 character is also changing. So the area for redevelopment would not just be site-specific, it would be the entire corridor to not only look at affordable housing opportunities, but also what we would like to see Route 34 in the future as far as future retail development and/or combination. I believe that discussions with the Township Committee should continue along this dual or parallel path as far as to assist in meeting the affordable obligations. I do believe at this point we need to change our representation to go back before the court and ask for reconsideration with a project that would be ready to move forward to show the court that we are in good faith will meet some of our affordable housing obligations. Is this a guarantee that the court is going to overrule that or not select one of the 3 developers and or hold the township to say that if you do not meet certain milestones that you would have to deal with those developers? It may. Do I also believe that we should be meeting with those developers currently to try to partner with them, not only to try to get the best possible development for our current residents, but also the best possible development for any future residents that may be in those developments? That includes green space, that includes walking trails, that includes amenities, that includes area improvements to our parks. It is not just the housing. There's a lot more that goes into the affordable housing. And let's not also forget the costs that are involved in any type of housing development. Again, we have 2 members of our school board here. What that's going to impact on our school system moving forward. They should be involved in this step by step. What's it going to involve in our community services, meaning both police, fire, and first aid in our public works? And I think that is a path that we need to take. As we progress on this, I do believe that we will have more details for the public, but it is a start to do a parallel path to stop the bleeding. I further believe that by changing legal counsel at this point, I do believe that there was a lack of thoroughness in certain cases with the presentation before the court. I will not go into details because I also don't want to further jeopardize the position of the township or other residents that may be fighting this. I do further believe that by hiring additional labor counsel and different planners at a reduced rate than what we are currently paying our existing counsel, it would also be an economic benefit to the township and saving additional funds for legal work. I do believe that some of the properties, we should be in discussions with the county and Earl and Green Acres for potentially either farmland preservation and or outright purchase and adding to an existing county park. Is that an easy proposition? No. I also further believe that all three of the developers, whether they bring in sewers or a pre-treatment plant on site, we should go way beyond what that treatment plant does. As you remember, when the Kushner development was before the planning board and this governing body, one of the major concerns was the environmental impact it may have on the C1 waterway and the Swimming River Road and our drinking water. I think the township should investigate that in those treatment plants that you add an additional treatment for PFAS or for the forever chemicals that are going to be leached through that. That is another option that can be put into that treatment plant. And on that would be an ordinance that would be required. And it would be obviously an additional cost to the developers, but it would also give the residents of Colts Neck an added safety for the PFAS chemicals. I welcome the discussions further with the existing township committee to further look at these parallel paths. Some may work out, some may not. But I think it is now time that we stop just relying on a durational adjustment and we move forward and look at other options. And again, I do believe that there needs to be other partners, our school board and our emergency services. But I do believe that we need to change course right now. And I do recommend to the governing body that we look for additional legal counsel with different expertise so that we have a pool of attorneys and a pool of planners that can assist us depending on the expertise that is needed and the direction that we go. Thank you.
Thank you, Committeeman. Committeewoman Buss.
Just to follow up, I wasn't here at the last meeting, so I apologize for not giving my updates. The library is taking donations up until March 31st for books, puzzles, board games, etc. I didn't have the opportunity last time to thank the fire department. Our fire department was on standby in the firehouses during the last very large storm that we had. I want to thank them for staying over and putting in that work. There actually was a structure fire during that big storm, and no equipment was damaged during that big storm. I'm not sure how they got that equipment around in the poor weather, but I just wanted to thank them for that, and the EMS and police for going out in the big storm. So I know that's kind of from a while ago, so I apologize for missing the last meeting. But library donations can actually be given in the library. I'll add anything on for affordable housing after the deputy mayor wants to speak. And I can kind of give anything additional then, so.
Committeeman Rizzuto.
All right, I have some messages from the chief of police to relay from our meeting. All right, accreditation hearing in South Brunswick on March 12th. They did very, very well. They excelled and will be granted our first accreditation coming up probably after he wrote this. And then he is going to be proud to present the accreditation at the council meeting. So he's requesting permission to come and present that. And of course, I think we're all in favor of that.
Absolutely.
Because that is a great, he's carried on very admirably the reforms of Chief Santucci, as Mayor Viola has stated. When we took over, the department was quite a bit different than it is today. I don't know how many total now we've added officers. I don't know what the total number added since we've been on. but it's a lot. We've increased rank. We built them a new police department. We've got them the nicest cars, vests.
Traffic division.
Traffic division has been increased, and a dedicated traffic division. I mean, there's always been a traffic function, more or less, but we really have kind of a traffic unit now, a true unit. And also, just a point on the pistols. The state of New Jersey doesn't agree with Sig Sauer. And I do applaud the expediting of it, but they've had them for 5 years. And the United States Army, Marine Corps, Air Force, they all use them and still use them. In fact, those guns are going to be sold back to the people of the world when we recover the cost of the guns. So the state of New Jersey had issued them to the state police, and the state police didn't want them anymore. There was an argument made that there was they had the potential, but I think that was New Jersey's stance. And then just out of an abundance of caution, we're transitioning away from those pistols. On the outside chance that we might get the one that does that, having said that, a couple of other states and towns have jumped on, and to date, I don't think any one of those towns have really prevailed against Sig Sauer in proving that there is spontaneous discharges from the Sig 220 or 320. So, but I do applaud expediting that. Car seat inspection this Thursday, 4 to 6 at Bucks Mill Park, I guess tomorrow. And then Coffee of the Cop, take a look on the website. Historic Preservation met. We've got a whole lot of programs coming up in conjunction with 250. Look on the website for that. We're going to, of course, coming up on Halloween and then Christmas, we're going to do our Halloween event again, all our Christmas events again. And I hear there's going to be carriage rides in the park this year. So we're looking forward to that. And of course, we're also, directing the township to check into the engineering, into shoring up that foundation. I'm hoping that maybe the engineer will look at it and say there's a simpler fix to jacking it up and putting a new foundation under it. I kind of suspect that he's going to say jack it up, put a new foundation under it. But then we'll have to explore some funding channels for that and see what monies we can bring in to shore up that schoolhouse, because it's the only one left that you can see. The other two that exist are private homes. We also talked about some of the forgotten cemeteries that are in town. Ed Piotrowski is probably the foremost expert on cemeteries, historic cemeteries, some of which are on private property, and the landowners have been very gracious to let us on and clear out the spaces for preservation. We have been approached by the Daughters of the American Revolution to go up to the Bennett, our attorney's family's ancestral burial ground up behind Laird Park, and because they would like to place some flags on the graves of the veterans of the American Revolution, and I believe Civil War too. So they really would like to get up there. That one's in bad shape. I've been up there. My son and his reenacting group, Civil War reenactors, are going to volunteer to blaze a trail up there. So the Daughters of the American, and we'll do some work to the cemetery. We'll preserve what we can, and then and the DAR can then come up and put their flags up and grave markers and see what we could do. And then Megan can come up and pay her respects to her family.
I'd love to see it.
Yes. All right. And then OEM and first aid, we talked, but nothing new. It's been a busy month with the storm and the car accidents. Just before the meeting, we had another big job out on 5 Points. So yeah, we're out there, we're doing it. And thank you to everybody who helped us out during all those storms. I know I said it last meeting, but I'm going to say it again. So thank you. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, Committeeman. Deputy Mayor Bezzetta.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As liaison for affordable housing, I'll pick up where Committeeman Tabia left off. And Committeeman Tabia, I welcome your involvement in this dual path, parallel path strategy. As those of you who were here in this room last year in 2025 during our meetings, the committee, Committeewoman Buss and I have spoken extensively about the efforts that we undertook on this parallel path to solve our affordable housing dilemma. So certainly not a new idea. I've been on this committee for a year, and for the year that I was here, we spent every day, frankly, talking with groups, meeting with people to have this parallel path. As Committeeman Tabia said, it's not easy. If it was, we would have done it. The paths we're working on now may not work, which is why we didn't include it as an option in our affordable housing plan that we submitted to the court in June of 2025, because the plan has to be fully baked. It has to have contracts signed, property identified, and whatnot. But we've been working on it for at least a year that I've been on, and before that, before I even joined the committee. So I welcome your approach to it, and I welcome you joining us in those efforts. I also, Committeeman Tabia, welcome your involvement with the county commissioners, and I know you have a good relationship with the county commissioners, to encourage them to come to Colts Neck and spend the open tax money, which passed in a referendum last year, an increase in that open tax space. We all voted on it last year and it passed. And I encourage you to use your good offices with the county commissioners to encourage them to come to Colts Neck and purchase some of these farms and preserve the farms so that we can keep our open spaces. You know, the county just spent $27 million purchasing 160 acres in Upper Freehold Township to prevent a warehouse development from going up. The Township Committee there wanted the warehouse. They wanted the taxes. Some neighbors didn't, but the county stepped up and spent $27 million of our tax dollars there. I'd love if you could encourage them to spend some of that money here in Colts Neck. I'll move on to a Board of Ed, and then you could follow up with affordable housing. As liaison to the Board of Ed, I'll report that on March 12, Committeewoman Buss and I, at the invitation of the president of the Board of Ed, Ms. Volpe, who is here with us, invited us to meet with the Board of Ed. We met, Committeewoman Buss and I met with Ms. Volpe, Mr. Walsh, who is here with us today, in the Finance Committee of the Board of Ed, Mr. Orico and Mr. Scarpa. Superintendent Garibay attended the meeting, and the Board of Ed Business Administrator Vince Marasco was also at the meeting via phone. And the purpose of that meeting, at their invitation, and again, I thank you for it, for taking the lead on this, is to discuss the impact on the schools that affordable housing will have. They are probably the department or the group in our town with the greatest impact. Police and fire as well, but the schools are going to have to deal with the impact of affordable housing, and they are proactive. They are thinking ahead to what this town is going to look like 3, 4, 5 years from now if these homes get built, and what the capacity means for our schools, and whether we'll need additional resources to build more schooling. So thank you for the invitation. I thought it was a productive meeting. We are going to continue the dialogue and to hopefully meet regularly and share information so that we could help you get ahead of it. And I commend you for that. Another item that came out of the March 18 Board of Ed meeting, and it's available on the YouTube channel for you to see it, is that the great state of New Jersey is cutting aid to our schools in Colts Neck by approximately 5.5%. So they're actually cutting aid to Colts Neck because we are an incredibly fiscally responsible Board of Ed. And again, I commend the Board of Ed for that. Board of Ed is a separate institution from the Township Committee. They manage their own budget. They've done it exceptionally well. But that 5.5% cut from state aid is going to result in $180,000 less going to our schools in Colts Neck than the year before. Let that sink in. And lastly, there was an announcement made at the meeting on March 18 that the Board of Ed will not be moving forward with renaming one of the schools in town for Donald Trump. And I said that was the last thing. I have one more thing. In a sure sign that spring is here, today is opening day of baseball. So play ball. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yankees are in San Francisco.
Yes.
Thank you, committee. My reports will be brief. Regarding recreation, I will note your comments, Mr. Tabia, regarding recreation. I was on personnel when we searched to replace the retiring Mr. Hennessy. And during our interview process, we articulated to the candidates that we are looking for enriching opportunities for recreation from the beginning to the end. So that being said, I'll cover 3 demographics at my update here. The Easter egg hunt will take place Saturday, 3/28 at 9:30 a.m. at Firehouse Number 1 on County Road 537. The rain date is April 4th. So that's about 90 minutes of organized mayhem. The little kids running around getting the eggs. On April 11th, Sports Foundation opens up spring baseball at Laird Park. So that's school-age kids. And next week, on the 1st at Colts Neck Inn, the Senior Citizens Club will be having their general meeting. And they do publish a monthly newsletter for their members, which shows all the activities and dates they have planned. That gives updates on welfare, committee updates. They celebrate birthdays, et cetera, and they also include, the trips, the signups, et cetera, to sign up for trips. So that's 3 in the demographic. We covered probably from birth to about 15 and then 55 and older. But the recreation director was hired to provide recreation enrichment activities for the entire demographic. Planning board will hold their regular April meeting on April 7th. It's been moved to April 7th at the primary school. That is when the court-ordered housing element fair share plan needs to be reviewed by the planning board, considered for adoption. It will be their general meeting. They will have the housing element fair share plan on the front end of the meeting. Then they'll be going through any applications on the balance of their agenda. And then just general update, please consider signing up, subscribing to notifications, coltsneck.org, subscribe to notifications. You can get a text, you can get an email. It's very effective. If something is posted within 1 or 2 minutes of it being posted and refreshed on the site, you'll get a notification. That's how to stay in touch. That's how to get outward proactive communication from the township. And then lastly, at tonight's commissioner meeting, there was a resolution on the agenda to reduce the speed limit on phalanx to 40 miles an hour. So hopefully they adopted that. And if they did, within the next month or so, we should see a reduction in the speed limit on phalanx. That is all that I have. Comments from the public. Procedure for public comment. The Colts Neck Township Committee welcomes comments from the members of the public. Please raise your hand if interested in being heard. Once recognized by the mayor, identify yourself by clearly stating your name and address for the record. Your comments will be limited to 4 minutes. Once you have finished speaking or your 4 minutes have expired, the Township Committee will consider responding accordingly. May I have a motion to open to public?
Moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Public, you're up. Sir.
Good evening. My name is Ken Bropson. I live at 36 Clover Hill Lane. The item I'm going to talk about, I spoke with police and they referred me to you folks. So I live at 36 Clover Hill Lane, which is a narrow street, but for the most part, you can see far enough ahead to detect oncoming traffic and to pull to the side. However, at the driveway for 37 Clover Hill Lane, not only does the street narrow to only about 15 feet wide, but there's also a dangerous curve that is a blind spot in which you have little time to see oncoming traffic or pedestrians or deer, of which there is an abundance, especially if you're not doing the speed limit. Since I moved here in 2017 with my lady friend, the traffic has increased on our street. Cars often speed down this street, including school buses, especially if there's a detour directing traffic onto our street. I have called the police several times when these things happen. Cars will often use Clover Hill Lane to avoid the intersection of 520 and 34 if it's congested, as it's one of the few through streets to 520. These cars are not familiar with the street, and I have heard screeching, and honking, and one car even spun out of control and hit a mailbox a couple of years ago. Our kitchen table window faces right near this exact spot, so we see this all day long. We see people jog and walk up and down the street. I even saw a woman on her cell phone pushing a baby carriage, which just seems so inherently dangerous. It is a tragedy just waiting to happen. Also, I've sometimes have near misses when I try to just pull out of my driveway due to the high speed these cars are going. I think the solution would be to add 2 significantly sized speed bumps with signage beforehand on either side of the driveway of 37. It would give each oncoming car not only a chance to slow down, but to see the other cars simultaneously. Neither increased signage, nor making it a one-way, nor anything else would really work. I do know that doing nothing is not the way to go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any feedback?
So,
I would be in, I'm sorry.
oh, no, go ahead. No, so absolutely,
Law
we'll,
enforcement.
we're going to, I'll talk to the chief about that particular road. Speed bumps, I think Mr. Tobia can probably speak to speed bumps better than I. There's a whole litany of liability problems when you install speed bumps, because correct me if I'm wrong, John, I don't think they're DOT approved on a regular road. You can put them in, but then there are responsibility if someone gets bottomed out. That's what I was led to believe. I could be wrong.
So usually on speed bumps, there's certain criteria that you are allowed or you're not allowed to put those in. For instance, a business district where you're looking for traffic calming and some of those type of things. They're very specific, requires a traffic study, whether or not that would merit. I do believe if the police department, as Frank said, would go there and check for the speed, and if the administrator could have Public Works check on some site distance issues.
I
For
think
clearance?
I think the engineer probably would be
Yeah.
good on that as well.
Yeah.
So if
That's
we're,
fine.
yeah, if we have an issue with the blind spot or site
Yeah.
drawing, the engineer should look at that.
I feel for you. It's a very narrow road. And yes, people cut through from 520 to get to 34. So I feel for you. So we'll take a look at it. Mr. Dupree, your hand was up next.
Scott Dupree, 146 Montrose. Good evening. The first responders of this town have lost almost $1 million in reoccurring revenues over the past 4 years due to the inactions of the Township Committee and in part the Executive Fire Council's unwillingness to implement a cost recovery plan for first responder services, which be a great benefit for this town. April 2022, 4 years ago, I engaged with Justin Powell, the Vice President of Fire Recovery, the company that does recovery billing to recapture costs, specifically for motor vehicle accidents. They bill the insurance company to recapture the volunteer department cost. They do not bill the person directly. Because we sit between 3 major roadways, the fire department averages close to 70 motor vehicle accidents per year. The past 4 years, many issues have come up, and I addressed all of them. It will violate our 501c3 tax-exempt status. It turns out that helps our billing, not hurts it, and it does not violate it. No one else is doing it. Besides providing a list in 2022, I sent Ms. Buss an updated short list of 25 towns billing on January 16th of this year. Some examples: Jackson Fire District 2 and 4, Toms River, Deptford, Gloucester Township, Clinton, Little Egg Harbor, to name a few. Now the city attorney says we will not do this program. No one is billing, people are suing, and no money is being made. Here are the facts straight from the company. And mind you, they are not the only company doing it in this country. Last year, they recovered costs on 55,000 runs. In New Jersey, average towns are recovering anywhere from $5,000 to $20,000, with towns along major highway corridors like the Parkway recovering close to $100,000 a year. Lastly, out of their 2,100 clients, no one is being sued, and the company asked the attorney to provide that information. They would like to see it. Now let's talk about Colts Neck. 70 motor vehicle accidents last year. Let's just use 60. At a collection rate of $715 per call, direct from the company, that's almost $43,000 a year that was lost. If you factor in one commercial structure fire, that number pushes to over $60,000 a year. What happens? The fire department can use that money to buy equipment, training, better services to the town, zero additional tax dollars spent. Now let's talk about the first aid. They average close to 600 calls a year. So let's just use 500. Average collection rate per call is $350. That's for Medicaid, Medicare, insurance data. That's $175,000 lost per year. The first aid can be self-funded. Put a few people in there per diem, and guess what? Improve services to the town, and you don't have to budget money for them. Again, you do not bill the person directly. The insurance company gets billed, and the policy for billing residential fire false alarms has been discontinued by the company. Almost 4 years, every question answered, every concern addressed, multiple times over. Think about it. When does somebody come here with a real-world solution that eases the tax burden on the people, a solution that supplies revenue and helps the first responders? The past 4 years, the fire department lost anywhere from about $50,000 to $75,000 a year in reoccurring revenues, and first aid lost approximately $200K a year. That's over $1 million for the last 4 years. The taxpayers are already overburdened with increasing property taxes. Here's a solution that requires almost no additional work. And more importantly, a few weeks ago, Mr. Quincannon spoke here. He didn't lie. He didn't slander anyone. It didn't disrupt fire company operations. Yet, the leadership at Firehouse Number 2 decided to trample his First Amendment rights and suspend him for 6 months because he spoke here at this venue, using a vague, subjective bylaw to trump his constitutional rights because they don't like him. That should concern everyone. Thank you.
Mayor, can I take that, please?
May I first?
Of
And then
course.
I'll hand it off to you, and then to the fire chair.
course.
Thank you, Mr. Dupree, for your comments. I appreciate it. I would like to remind you that last summer, when Mr. Chabelle from House Number 2 came and presented, it was a discussion item. We asked that it be ferreted through EFC and provide additional information and formally submitted from EFC. Nothing has been submitted to this governing body. That being said, I'll now hand it to council.
So yes, Mr. Dupree, I'm aware that there are other towns that have done similar ordinances that you're speaking of. So our firm reviewed this ordinance, and when Mr. Chabelle brought this up originally, I did have concerns, and when going through this, concerns were realized. Based on the review and on research, the issues involved in this ordinance, it appears that the municipal cost recovery rule would prevent the charges contemplated by the ordinance. Research has shown there are a number of municipalities with ordinances authorizing such recovery charging to the insurance of people who receive fire and emergency services, including but not necessarily limited to municipalities, like you said, Cumberland, Gloucester, Hunterdon, Morris, Passaic, Salem, and Warren counties. However, the legality of these ordinances and the proposed ordinance is questionable. The municipal cost recovery rule provides that public bodies cannot recover the cost of governmental emergency services absent statutory authority to do same. There is none. The rule reflects the policy decision to spread the cost of public services among the public at large. So fundamentally, we've got a legal issue. Additionally, of the municipalities that have adopted these ordinances, similar to the proposal that Mr. Chabelle brought originally, some notable restrictions are included. Prohibition against billing the municipality's residents. Prohibition against denying emergency services due to inability to pay. Revenue collected must be allocated solely for the fire department purposes. And the fact that municipality proximity to a major highway results fire department having to respond to emergency incidences with more frequency. It should be noted that tailoring an ordinance to charge out-of-town residents, which I brought up at the last time, would likely not survive constitutional scrutiny, as such an ordinance would likely run afoul of the Dormant Commerce Clause. In addition, the municipalities that have adopted similar ordinances to the ones being proposed here, the track record of municipal efforts in charging for fire-related emergency services does not appear to lead to a lucrative result. Research shows in towns like Woodbury City and Gloucester County adopted an ordinance similar to the proposal here, generated about $5,000. That was offset by the administrative costs to implement the ordinance. We talk to many municipalities that have these ordinances. Again, I fundamentally, as a threshold issue, I find it there to be a state issue, a constitutional issue, which I would not recommend to this committee to adopt. But even if those issues were not there, all of the towns we spoke to, this was a revenue loser. This was not a revenue winner. In addition, in the insurance industry, insurance opposition to these emergency charges are now in place. Research indicates major insurance carriers in New Jersey are opposed to municipal cost recovery by charging the insurance to individuals who receive fire-related emergency services. At least as of April 2012, representatives of Allstate New Jersey, State Farm Insurance, and New Jersey Manufacturers Insurance were quoted as opposing municipal recovery. That is what's happening. What your number is calculating, you're not calculating the resistance from the insurance companies, which is now happening. So basically, inclusion of the municipal cost recovery rule likely prohibits this ordinance. There are constitutional issues with this ordinance, and even if there weren't, it's a revenue loser.
Thank you, Councilor.
You're welcome.
So I'll just chime in here as the liaison for the fire department, who's been a member at EFC to discuss this issue. This was brought to light back in 2022, I believe it was. The fire department was charged with looking into this and creating something for the township to review. It was discussed in EFC. I'm not going to discuss personnel matters. I appreciate Mr. Quincannon's service to our town and his knowledge and efforts and everything he's done, as I do yours as well. So I'm not going to comment on any of the personnel matters that you're speaking of. But as far as the intimation that this township committee has sat and done nothing is fairly inaccurate. So just to be clear, there's been a tremendous amount of time, energy, and effort that's gone into looking into this. I myself have spoken with, I've gone through E360, I've looked at codes, ordinances, resolutions on a variety of towns. I myself have spoken to probably about 15 towns that I was actually able to get a hold of. A little insulted that the other 5 that I called didn't call me back, but that's okay. If they're listening now, just reach out anytime. We've looked into this. It really is not as easy as you make it seem, and there's some legal issues. And finally, when I've spoken with residents about this, people are up in arms. I have heard people say, "You're telling me that you're going after my insurance and I'm not going to get screwed?" I don't believe it. With that being said, the feedback I have gotten from residents is very negative, very negative. Although Mr. Chabelle really does make a compelling argument, claiming that nothing's going to happen to anybody's insurance. It's billed into the premiums already. Again, the feedback we've received has been fairly negative from the residents themselves. But I appreciate the concept of looking at things that are going to increase revenues. Grants, the fire department right now is working on a big FEMA grant. And that is very important. I, at this point, feel negative myself about the concept of billing through the fire department, regardless of the legality issue. But we've been working a lot and done a lot of energy on this. And I do appreciate you sending me over the towns, but it really doesn't look like it's going to move forward. Although Mr. Chabelle strongly disagrees with this and will be reaching out to the township as well to kind of follow up with that, just so you're aware.
Any other comments from the public? Mr. Krasinkus.
Sorry about my leg. Well, that guy with the speeding car, good luck. Well, it's like an again.
Please use the mic. Thank you.
It's an again, what do you call, meeting.
Name
I
and
really
address,
don't know
please.
where to begin.
Name and address, please.
Oh, Dan Korzankis, 126 Montrose Road, Colts Neck, New Jersey. And I don't know where to begin, but in approximately the last 6 to 7 years, I feel like the leadership of this town has been feckless in facing the township's challenges with affordable housing. To arise
I was originally told by one of you that the Levana project was already litigated and that we can't go back and place blame. We have to go forward, and that, what do you call this? We would learn from that mistake. Well, we didn't learn anything from Levana, because here we are again with Well Springs being sued, again with Aubrey Road being sued, again with Dutch Lane being sued. And you said that there's supposedly deed restrictions on it. From what I hear, that's not true. Something went awry with the township doing it. You said, I think the residents are owed a copy of what you say that you had a plan. What type of plan did you submit in June of 2025? Why are we here again with being sued? Furthermore, the developer of these projects, if they have submitted any architectural renderings or where they're, the building site plans, I think the residents should have a copy of them. And again, I'm telling you about, you need to get rid of council. Council is no good. They lost every single lawsuit basically that we had with affordable housing. Why do we have the same council? We need specialized counsel. I agree, and I even before Committeeman Tobias said so, I even brought it up. I mean, why can't you just get new counsel? Why can't you guys get together on it? I don't see anybody working together here. It's disgusting. Honestly, you're going to need counsel with the upcoming lawsuits from the Mockingbird Lane residents, people on Lexington, people in Marlboro, Castle Hill Road, and Boundary. They're all going to, you got to even litigate a class action suit a mile around. There's a lot of legal. And what about the lady that sold that place where Pascal went to the township and came to you guys, and she wanted it to be subdivided, and the township told her no. So she sold it as one property for $1.9 million. Now you're saying it can be divided, or it is going to have 380 units on it, that the deed restrictions don't matter, or they weren't filed right. Doesn't she have a right to come back and sue you guys for, she could have gotten $5 million for it? I mean, what about the Mockingbird? There's $4 or $5 million homes up there. They bought those homes with the understanding that was going to be a farm. I mean, you're gonna have lawsuits up and down the street. Especially Castle Hill Road. You know where Castle Hill Road is, right across the street. All those residents are going to get together. You're going to have a class action lawsuit. And again, I'm going to talk to you about Montrose Road. It's funny how he's talking about Clover Hill Lane. I'm talking about Montrose Road. The people are using our town as a racetrack, and you guys don't care. It hasn't been addressed since 1998.
I'll start with Montrose Road. Mr. Krasinkus, we have told you that we are authorized as traffic study. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen overnight.
Whatever.
It's not going to happen overnight. You need to be a little bit more patient.
Patient?
Please. Thank you. Thank you for decorum. Thank you. Anybody want to respond?
Yeah, and Mr. Krasinski, I get it. You're upset. No, I do. You're shaking your head. You're upset. I'm upset. Everyone in this room is upset. Everyone in this town is upset. You do not have a monopoly on being upset. We all are. And while you are entitled to your opinion and we value your opinion, you're not entitled to your facts. The facts are, as I have said it, and I really hope you would listen to what I'm about to say, because facts matter, right? If you want to litigate, you have to know the facts. You have to understand the facts. And I say this with all due respect. We took a durational adjustment in June of 2025 because the law allowed us to do so, because we don't have water and sewer in Colts Neck. The same lawyers that filed for durational adjustment in round 4 filed for durational adjustment in round 3. And guess what? It was granted. So the durational adjustment is a valid legal basis for towns like ours without water and sewer. The alternative to a durational adjustment was a fully baked plan that we would have had to submit to the court on June 30. Properties under contract for millions of dollars, contracts with builders where we would have to pay builders millions of dollars to build affordable housing. In 2025, no one was advocating that we spend millions, tens of millions of dollars to do that. In fact, what residents were advocating for is that we join Mayor Gasali in suing the state so that hopefully a court would repeal or modify the affordable housing laws. As long as I've been in this town, 12 years, all I've heard is fight, fight, fight. And township committees before my time all fought. Sometimes when you fight, you win. Sometimes when you fight, you lose. But the fight's not over. There's an appeal. I know you giggle, the keyboard warriors giggle. But you want to fight, we fight. It costs money to fight. And we appeal. And we hope that a judge listens to us. And at the same time, as Committeeman Tabia said, and as we did in 2025, we have a parallel path. That ordinance we passed tonight, extending affordability controls at the ground, guess what? That was part of the parallel path. We reduced our affordable housing obligation by 54 units. Had the other homeowners agreed to sign on, we could have gotten another 30. So that was a parallel path. We have been fighting. This notion, as Committeeman Rizzuto says, that we've just been sitting on our hands, we must have missed something, we didn't know what to do. With all due respect to everyone, I wish you would sit here and I hope you all run for this seat, because I would love for you to sit here and know what we know and know what we've had to deal with and how hard it is to satisfy our obligation. I guarantee you, if it was easy, it would have been done before I got on this committee. It would have been done last year by me. It would have been done already. It's not that easy. Even Committeeman Tabia, when he gave his speech tonight, said that this parallel path may not work, but we're trying it. We're pulling every lever. We are as angry as you are. We're trying our damnedest.
And I would like to explain, probably for the fifth time now, sir, what an intervener is. I think you're conflating what an intervener is from the outside who buys property and then gets certain, for lack of a better term, legal standing to proceed to help us with our obligation. Do you follow me? You don't understand what our intervener is. Okay, we're not going back and forth. I got yelled at like you did. So we're not going to go back and forth. But an you're saying that we picked these people and somehow they come in and but you're saying, well, you did this. You're asleep at the switch, essentially, was what you're getting at. You missed something. You said that. You said our attorneys must have missed something. But let me look at the numbers totally and what they were compared around the county. We're doing pretty well. All right. 101 units in round 4. That didn't happen by accident. That was through negotiation, strategy, maneuvers. We got it down to 101. 101 for round 4. Fact. Again, a fact. Not feelings, not half-truths put out into the world. And then I would love for you, sir, I'm going to be respectful as I can, but I'm not as polished as them. Stop throwing snowballs. Come up and join a committee, volunteer. If you put a quarter of your time that you do into something productive, as into complaining, then get up here and volunteer for a committee. We'd love to have you. Take that energy and put it into something productive. Thank you.
And I will tell you also, Mr. Chrysanthus, there's been no plans shared by the developers. We haven't seen anything. There's just an idea of how many units they can fit on a property, and we have not said build on Dutch Lane. Mr. O'Brien.
Kevin O'Brien, 18 The Enclosure. I got a little backwards today, so please pardon me. The State Historic Preservation Grant for Montrose School, if you're going to apply, is April 16th, 2026 at 4 o'clock. The Historic Preservation Certified Local Government Grant, I don't know the difference, application is due March 31st. Monmouth County Historic Grant maximum is $10,000 if you're going to apply. Changing gears. Does the budget include funds to acquire land for a dedicated affordable housing complex in the event of supporting a potential litigation with fair share housing? If so, how would that happen? Are the costs of a concept building plans and dedicated affordable housing complex in the budget? My concept would be the goal should be to impress and instill a sense of cooperation and fair share housing in the court. Come to the table with a plan. Detailed. You talked about having that conceptually, but not having the ability to do that in round 5. But if this is a settlement process, can you do that on the side and have all that information readily available? Was my point. On Sports Foundation, there was an ask for $260,000 in the budget hearing, which I feel is unreasonable. There was talk of an agreement with Sports Foundation, but there were no details provided in support of transparency. Eliminate the $35,000 scoreboard, $30,000 bleachers, and $20,000 windscreen, which totals $85,000. There are many scoreboards that I looked up on the internet, $10,000 or less, which will suit the job. This is Colts Neck, not Yankee Stadium or the home of the Little League World Series. Then again, who's going to pay for the $35,000 maintenance on a $35,000 scoreboard? Parks director spoke of renting out the field for $25 to $32 an hour. It would take 26.5 years for a return on investment for the request for Laird Field. That's based on 7 hours of rental a day at 2 days fully for 20 weeks. So he's not doing his homework. I'm not sure on this one either. The congressional direct spending is an opportunity for Senator Booker and Kim to advocate for federal funding for specific projects in New Jersey. The Senate Appropriations Committee is now accepting requests for fiscal year for 2027. Could the sewer lines and the public water line for affordable housing be part of that grant and save us $2 million? It's not my area of expertise. I'm trying to do my homework and say where we can find other money which you may not realize. Have you checked with the state on revolving funds? Federal assistance and low interest loans are available via the EPA. Did we apply? Did we ask for it? I'll come back to what I started with earlier this evening on the $3 million used in what I call as unexpected funds in the cash management surplus fund. That's happened again and again and again, which kind of leads me to a conclusion of it's really more haphazard than it is of proper planning on how you're working the budget. When you're spending an extra $3 million at the end of the year, I don't understand why that's not built in at the beginning of the year into the budget. And when you're going to show the numbers on the budget, if you had a pie chart showing this is where we were, and this is the pie chart next to it showing the increase, we'd have a better understanding of what's being increased and proportionally what that increase would be, if that makes sense. The last one, if I have time, and I won't even go there. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. O'Brien. We're going to address Mr. O'Brien. I believe the historic grants, it has to be an historic site. It has to be a registered historic site.
No.
One of them does require
all the
either
grants
registration
are
or
different.
eligibility.
Some, depending on matching the criteria, some can only go to certain things. They're not for building. But yes, absolutely, we're going to look into all those, and a couple of different sources, hopefully as well. So, but we're definitely going to need some outside funding for this. But thank you for that. Yes, I know the committee does look at those. They come out every year, but those are important. Some of them have requirements that we don't quite fit. They're not all for construction. So we're going to have to go a construction or renovation specific type thing, but it's out there. You're absolutely right. Thank you though.
Affordable housing funds for land acquisition legal fees are calculated, and there is a budget, a portion for the legal fees to acquire land, but the acquisition of land would be through a bond issue. That's one of the reasons why we keep our debt service as low as possible and as consistent as possible. And regarding Sports Foundation, I'd ask Mr. Tobia to opine.
Mr. O'Brien, there's numerous improvements to the Sports Foundation. I will get that list for you. And out of that, it was approximately $260,000. The Township Committee within the budget, I believe it was 125, Mayor, that the Township's going to fund under the capital, and the remainder of the Sports Foundation is going to fund, but I will get you a copy of that list.
And on the cap bank ordinance, if I might, Mr. Mayor, Mr. O'Brien, I urge you to go back and look at the video for last week's meeting. Now you shake your head, but we explained
We
that
have one listed.
2 weeks ago.
Two meetings
The hearing, 2 meetings ago? Was that when we introduced it? Whenever we introduced it, we fully explained that the cap bank ordinance is an ordinance that we passed as an insurance policy because state law prohibits any municipality from spending more than, I think it's 2.5% of last year's budget in certain categories. And so what every municipality does is it passes a special ordinance to give us the leeway to spend up to $3.5 million. We're not spending an additional $3.5 million. So I'm sorry? Percent. We're not. And so I caution you when you speak to make sure you're clear. As we said when we introduced our budget, our overall spending, proposed spending for this year is less by $900,000 than last year. So we're actually proposing to spend less than we did last year. So those are the facts. You may not like them, but they're the facts. So thank you.
And I believe the Board of Education also adopts a cap bank ordinance or a cap bank resolution. All government entities adopt a cap bank resolution. Anyone else from the public wish to be heard? Mrs. Camera, you had your hand up.
Phyllis Camera, One Round Hill Court. I want to thank the committee and everyone involved in developing this year's budget. As a member of the Colts Neck 250th Committee, I would also like to remind our families that the calendar contest is underway. It's open to all students. The senior 12th grade winner will receive $200 and be featured on the cover, while winners in grade K to 11 will each receive $100. And the prize money is being generously donated by the Historical Society. Additionally, the newest Board of Education newsletter is now available on the Colts Neck Township School website, social media, and I have copies to help keep everyone informed on the great work being done. And lastly, I would like to ask about the hours for 5 Points Park. It has not been open after 8 a.m. on multiple occasions, and while I understand weather-related delays, it would be appreciated by me if the park could be open consistently each day now that the conditions have improved, the weather conditions have improved. And just thank you again for your dedication.
Thank you. I would defer on the parks. We'll look into 5 Point. Thank you. Anyone else wish to be heard? Ma'am?
Hi, I'm Patricia Miller, 18 Princeton Lane, and I'm fairly new to Colts Neck and wasn't planning on speaking tonight, but I'm curious about something that I heard from committee member Dan Bizzetta. It sounds like the open space tax was approved and the county just spent $27 million. I think that's what I heard, acquiring farmland and freehold to prevent the construction of warehouses. So I guess I have a question specific to committee member John Tobia. Given your experience and relationship with the county commissioner's office, can you help us understand why they haven't come to Colts Neck, or can they come to Colts Neck, or can they be influenced, or can you influence them to come to purchase farmland in Colts Neck to prevent the land from being acquired by builders?
May I respond first? Because you were not on committee last year.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mrs. Miller, for the comment. Yes, we do seek open space funds from the county. Last year, in last year's budget, one of the reasons why it was inflated on the top line was so high was because we received an $881,000 grant from the county to get a deed restriction on the 29-acre parcel just south of the turf field on 5 Point Road. So yes, the county, we do work with the county. Yes, and the county did pass, the voters of the county passed an increase in the open space tax. So yes, there are more funds available, and we will continue to pursue those, but I will now defer to Farmland and Open Space Liaison.
So Monmouth County has contributed over the years to purchase numerous properties in this township and other municipalities. As you know, Monmouth County is responsible for 53 municipalities, so the priorities that they set on why a particular property is purchased or not is as part of the park system priorities. However, in this township, that particular property that Mr. Bezzetta referenced, there was also a contribution coming from the state, approximately $8 billion of the $27 million, and that the voters approved 2-1 to increase the open space tax for the county. We are going to have numerous discussions with the county, Earl, and New Jersey DEP Green Acres, not only to assist in purchasing some of the properties that you heard that are in contention for development, but in order to prevent other properties from being considered for development. It is an ongoing discussion, and there's a number of factors that go into that as far as the value of the property, whether it's contiguous to additional county parks or open space or state open space. Earl has a major contribution to that if it's within the base zone, but I can assure you that not only myself, but I'm sure the Township Committee will support the efforts in whatever partnership we can get out of the county, and they have been true good partners over the years for open space. The amount of open space that has been preserved in this town and throughout the county is the model throughout the state in preservation of open space. So like I said, they've been willing partners in this, and we will continue to have dialogue with them as we have in the past.
And one of the things that the federal government is doing is trying to increase funds available to the Navy so that they can participate at a greater percentage in preserving land around the base perimeter. So that's federal government. That's hopefully in the 27 budget. Anyone else from committee have anything to offer?
No.
Any other questions from the public? Mrs. Mann, I believe you had your hand up.
Elaine Mann, 587 Route 34, Colts Neck. Has there been any progress made in regards to the arbitration with the builders of this building, et cetera, on getting some of our money back for all the repairs and for the fines from the DEP levied on this township? Okay. Would it not serve the residents of Colts Neck better if we dump our leaves at the sites on the properties we own and rent out to our farmers? They pay $1,000 per year. If you gave them a small fee to till them in and put the rest up at DPW and have them shredded, because residents years ago used to go up there and access mulching, et cetera. I believe there is a grant program from the state of New Jersey in regards to this. Have you considered a grant writing committee to look into all grants? I think we should establish it because you'd have another perspective and we could apply. We might not get all of them, but we'd have a better understanding of what's out there and how much monies that we could recoup. The mayor of Randolph Township, Jay Hathaway, has reduced their fourth round of affordable housing by 92%. He is also running for Congress. I know each town has a different standards that the state uses, but he or Randolph's team may be able to provide some useful information to our township if we called them and asked them. They could, like you, Committeeman Buss, you called how many towns? Some replied. We should call and ask them. What did they do to reduce it by 92%? And have you asked for a change of venue from the judge that gave the verdict on this last round in court? You could file because she was prejudicial. Is that not correct? You had mentioned at the attorney that she was quite prejudicial when she came down with her decision. So you would file the paperwork A and B on that. It's on the website, and also have a change of venue and see what happens then. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Mann. I don't know how many cubic yards of leaves we collect every year, but it's a big number. I don't know if Committeeman Tabia wants to opine on that. I know there's rules on leaf processing and mulching, et cetera, but it's an inordinate number of cubic yards. We have an estimate maybe we can get from DPW? No, not tonight. I mean, I mean, it's, Committeeman, anything to offer?
Just on leaf disposal, there's numerous ways to dispose leaves. There's mulching permits, there's composting permits. Each one there's pros and cons. There's the county solid waste has to weigh into it. Again, like I said, the information as far as volume and what it's costing us today, you'll have to get from Lou to make a better decision to get when we can get back to you, Mrs. Brown.
Anyone else in the public wish to be heard? Mrs. Kuklow.
Mary Ann Kuklow, 67 Blackbriar. I didn't realize that the book I have with me today is the book I used to go over the bills list for 2025. So I have everything right here. And as far as the grant in reference to the bills, I just had some things written down when I went over them. The UHAC rules, the rental units, revising declarations, electronic recording deeds, on and on and on. But the one that I found to be the most interesting pertains to twice when the legal counsel was instructed to look into the legality of retroactively application of the UHAC rules. And 3 times tonight it's been stated that not all 66 people avail themselves of your offer. It almost made me feel like you're blaming the residents for not taking your offer. And I think it should go on the record that the people who didn't take your offer are now suing us. And one of the reasons they're suing us is over UHAC and the retroactive applicability of the rules. I don't know if it's legal or not. I want it to be on the record that that's why these people didn't take the deal. And this is one of the things that goes into the amount of cost that Mr. Tabia was asking for. I also wanted to mention that as far as state aid, it has nothing to do with us. It has to do with a mathematical formula, and that ESL, special ed, and various other categories are weighted heavily and put into the formula. So if you have more ESL, which they do in Newark and Camden, you're going to get a lot more money than you're going to get in Colts Neck. So it's a straight mathematical formula. And also, I just wanted to mention to Mr. I also wanted to just say that I think it's a great idea what Mr. Tabia said, and we need new counsel. You know, a definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. And as for Mr. Bezzetta, you just can't help yourself, can you?
Thank you. Any feedback?
Not specific to that, but in general, I heard a couple of people get up today, and I just wanted to point it out for the audience at home and everyone sitting in the audience. So the same people chastise us for spending too much money, and then got up on a different issue and then yelled at us for not spending enough money, for keeping taxes low. But then we got yelled at by some of the same, very, very same people yelled at us for spending too much. So sometimes it's a little hard to get the signals from some of the people in the audience. Exactly. Do you want us to spend more? Do you want us to spend less? I guess it's relative to what we're talking about. I just wanted to point that out. Thank you.
You know, education-wise too, Newark receives over $1 billion in state aid for education, and their math and English proficiency hovers around 10%. So they throw more money at the problem. Does, again, the definition of insanity is doing more and more of the same thing and expecting a different result. This state's funding of education is completely out of whack. It needs to be completely we need new law. The school funding law is completely archaic. Anybody else from the public wish to be heard? May I have a motion to close public comment?
Motion to close.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Next Township Committee meeting is Wednesday, April 8th, in this chamber at 7 p.m. May I have a motion to adjourn? All in favor? Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you for coming out.